Hi everyone, my name is Marcus. I'm a knitter, spinner, crocheter, weaver and dyer from Glasgow in Scotland. And this video is a recap on the different projects that I've been working on throughout the month of July. So first things first, might as well jump in with my only finished object, which is kind of a miracle that I finished anything at all because I feel like I have had zero time for crafting, as is always the way. But I managed to finish off my Goth Pride socks. This is my own colourway that I dyed for Pride. Last year was the first time, and I brought it back again this year, although this is yarn that I kept for myself from 2022. It generally takes me a year to get around to doing things. But yeah, finally finished these off. These have taken me far too long to get finished off, but I'm really happy with them. I knit these on 2.5mm Chow needles, and I've knit them in opposite colour repetition. So if you look here, it goes blue, purple, red, orange, yellow, green, and here, it's going the opposite direction. And the reason I've done it like that is because I'm lazy. So when I cake up yarn, I'll knit one sock from the inside out and the other from the outside in. So for self-striping, you get it kind of one going one way, one going the other. I wouldn't do it for all colourways, but for this, I don't think you notice. I quite like that it's different because, yeah, you can see here that the red meets up and the green meets up, but then all the other colours are, opposite, which is fun and it's cute and I love them. I've tried them on, but I've not actually worn them yet. I've been trying to save them for this. Keep it nice before I wear them, because I do quite a lot of walking just during the day, like with my commute to work and even just around the office. I do quite a lot of walking, so I'm quite hard on my socks. So I wanted to make sure that these had never been worn before I showed them off, just to keep them looking nice. So as I said, that was my only finished object from July. I have kind of finished things. I suppose it's a matter of perspective if you consider it a finished object, and I do. So as you're maybe aware, it was Tour de Fleece during July, which is it's kind of a challenge alongside with Tour de France. People spin yarn along with. Some people are really organised about it and will spin their spinning wheels whilst the cyclists are spinning their wheels. I don't know. That's not me. I don't know that. I just kind of spin. Yeah, I find that I don't give myself a whole lot of time for spinning yarn. So when it is Tour de Fleece, I kind of make a special effort to get as much spinning. And a lot of people set goals. I have things that I want to do. Like I'll have like certain, like bats that I've had for a while, perhaps, that I'm like, oh, I want to get that spun up this Tour de Fleece. But overall, I don't generally set goals other than just to spin, every day if I can, but whatever. I did kind of set myself a goal this year. I ordered a whole sheep fleece. I was really excited for. My goal was I wanted to have it at least partially processed before the start. I ordered it about a month prior to Tour de Fleece starting, so at the start of June I ordered it. So my plan was to make a good start in processing it so that when Tour de Fleece starts I can just get spinning. And my kind of goal was that I wanted to spin a sweater's quantity out of this fleece. But it's now the end of July. Today's actually the 30th of July. I've still not received that fleece, and the company I ordered it from are no longer replying to messages and emails, so I'm just, yeah, claiming my funds back through credit card company, which is unfortunate. I was really excited for the fleece, but it is what it is. So that aside, I did manage to get a fair amount of spinning done, and I'll go through it. So first thing I spun for Tour de Fleece, actually, this might have been before Tour de Fleece, I don't really remember. If I showed this in the last episode, then this might not be relevant, but yeah, this is 100 grams, and this was a braid that I got from Celie McWheely earlier on this year at the Scottish Wool Producers Showcase in Perth. This was merino and baby alpaca, I believe. It's lovely. It's got a nice squish, but I've spun it to be quite textured, and I think I've accomplished that. I didn't really have a plan in mind for like what I wanted to do with this, because it's, you know, it's a blue yarn. It's, I would say the overall colour is blue, but then you've just got like a full rainbow of colours within it. So there's a lot going on, which when I was spinning it, I was kind of like, I don't know what I'm actually going to do with this, but now that it's spun, there's that much going on that it doesn't look busy. I don't know if that makes sense at all. It probably doesn't, but yeah, I still don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I really like it. I could weave it. That's what I like to do with my chunky yarns, my kind of more textured yarns. I think the texture shows a bit more with weaving than it does knitting or crocheting. Well, the way I knit and crochet anyway. I really love this bit. So chunky. But yeah, so that's that. I do have the yardage. Bear with. Yeah, so this was 134 yards. I don't know the meters. I know I should do because I live in the UK, but the niddy noddy that I use is 2 yards round, so I'm not going to convert it because it really doesn't impact my life. I just want it so that I can kind of gauge the average width of it, I suppose, and give me like a vague like yarn weight. Obviously it's not a like consistent width throughout this game, but yeah, it just kind of gives me a hint as to like how I can use it, like how, if I was knitting at what needle size I was using and stuff like that. But I don't know, I'm sure you know that, I'm sure you understand that concept. Don't need me to go on about it. So I'll move on to the next thing I spun. I don't think it was, no, this was the next thing I spun. This is a gorgeous, this was a bat that I got from Wish You Were Here, a Scotch company, and it's oranges, yellows and pinks. It's really nice. It's not my usual palette, but I'm warming up to warm colours. Trying to anyway. Yeah, I love this. I think this was just 100% merino. I bought this, it was last year. It was at an event, I don't remember which event. I think it might have been Glasgow School of Yarn, if memory serves. Yeah, it's lovely. This is mostly, I would say about 4-ply. I have the yardage. Yeah, it's 322 yards and it's 100 grams, so it's a bit heavier than a 4-ply. I think I was aiming for DK, for double knit. Yeah, but I kind of seem to be stuck on like a default setting of 4-ply when I try and spin, and I find it a little bit tricky to get out of that. But yeah, it's a little bit thicker than 4-ply, and that's good enough. I don't know what I'm going to do with it anyway. I just wanted to spin it, so I did. And next up, I'm very excited about. This is difficult to hold up. I'm trying, I promise. This is either gummy worm or jelly worm. I think it was gummy worm. But this was a art bat put together by Celia McWheely yet again. And this is so much fun. Like, this is just ridiculous colours. They're brilliant. I love the acid green that just screams through all of the other colours. I'll see if I can... I'll hold them up a bit closer. So I core spun this, meaning that I used a core thread. The one I used was wool, not super strong. You would generally want something quite strong for core spinning, but I just used what I had on hand, and I'm not really, I don't know what exact, I know I'm going to weave with this, and I'm only going to use it as weft. So the strength, it's strong enough for what I need it for, if you know what I mean. It held up all through the spinning process and washing and fooling, but absolutely, I'm obsessed with this. Bring up another one. So much fun, and I think this will look great woven. Sorry. My plan is to use this as a weft for the weaving, and I'm going to use teal as the warp, which I think will just really make the colours, not that they don't need help standing out, but yeah, just look at the acid yellow. I love acid yellow so much. Yeah. So this was 4 skeins, so it's 250 grams in total. And they've all been core spun all the same way. And the total yardage was, where did it go? 534 yards. So it's heavier than Aran, I would say. There is some finer spots and there is some thicker spots, but overall I would say maybe Aran on average. I'm not too sure. Either way, I love it and it's glorious, and it's going to make something really weird when I weave it. I still don't know what I'm planning on doing with my woven fabrics because I don't sew, but I will try one day when I have time, which is always the problem. So the last thing I spun was this. So this is 200 grams that I really fought to get on the wheel, but this is closer to double knit. I was aiming for double knit. I think I got a good bit closer to double knit than I did with the orange. But this is some of my own fibre that I dyed, and it's, I can't remember the exact ratio. I think it's 80% merino. No, it's Blueface Leicester. It's Blueface Leicester. I think it's 80% Blueface Leicester and 20% Trilobal nylon. I'm not too sure how one pronounces that, but Trilobal nylon. Trying to see if there's a good part to show you. Yeah, you can kind of see it here. It's nylon, obviously, but it's super shiny. It's not showing up great on this camera, which I'm surprised because it's very. I'm using quite a bright light here, but it's maybe too bright, and that's maybe the issue. But yeah, so this is 200 grams, and it is. Where has it gone? 482 yards, which puts it pretty much, well, that is in the double knit range. So I'm really happy with that. What I'm gonna knit with this. I know that much, and I'm thinking this might go into a sweater. I kind of like the idea of having this green for like the top part of a sweater, and then fading it down into maybe like a dark grey or something. Haven't really I haven't really got it all figured out. But yeah, happy with this. It's a ridiculously chunky skein, but it's great. 10 out of 10. So that was all of the spinning I done in July. And I had wanted to do a bit more, but obviously things got in the way, and just deal with it and move on. So next I'll go into my works in progress. I didn't make a bunch, well, I didn't really make any headway on any of the works in progress I have around, like any of my blankets. I've not touched them this month. So, and the reason for that, well, one, it was Tour de Fleece and I was doing a lot of spinning, but even after I kind of stopped spinning, I got excited about the Stephen West mystery knit along for socks. I believe it's called Contrast Blast, if memory serves correct. So I can't remember when the initial cast on date for that was, but I missed it by weeks and weeks and weeks. I had been planning on taking part when I first heard about it, and had some yarn, some of my own yarn that I thought, oh, this would be great, this would be great. But then I didn't have it in stock, and I was like, oh, I'll need to re-dye it. But I've got a kind of a tight dye schedule just now of things that are getting dyed, so I don't want to disrupt that, because I've gone to the effort of putting a plan in place, so I don't kind of want to ruin that. So I kept putting it off, and then I just got excited and I ditched my initial plan for yarns, and picked some out of stash, which I think look great, potentially better than what I had initially pictured. So I started them, I think it was just as Clue 3 was about to drop, so this was only like a week ago I started them. It might have been last weekend, I don't remember, but here they are anyway. So this is the right sock, and this is the left sock. Not that it really matters, but as you can see, I've done the mirrored pattern. So in the pattern, you have a choice of having the steps all just go in the same way, or you can mirror them if you want. I chose to do that, and I also chose to mirror the yarns. I think it was Elizabeth in my online knitting group, the International Virtual Knit Nights. I think it was her that gave me the idea, but I could be wrong. But it was definitely somebody from my VKN. But so yeah, I'll drop that one because this one's a bit further ahead. I've just started Clue 2. Yeah, this is Clue 2. This is all Clue 1. And you've got the nice cable detail, which feeds down nicely into the... I probably should have looked at the pattern and looked what any of these different details are called, but this like nice little step colourwork situation. Although it's not like colourwork. It's not stranded colourwork, so it's a nice fabric. Because I find with stranded colourwork, I've made some socks that they look amazing, stranded colourwork socks, but you're basically making like a double thickness fabric when you do stranded, and that's just... I live in Scotland and it's freezing cold, but it's too warm. It's far too warm for me. But yeah, it's quite smart. So there's no stranded colourwork in this. So you've still got that nice, well, in my opinion, nice fabric for socks, but with a really cool design. So you've got these steps, and now it's just coming down to these kind of, I think it's going to look kind of like brickwork once I get more into the pattern. These are like purl ridges, which look great. Yeah, I'm really enjoying having the two different yarns, and I'm excited to see how the brickwork looks with the darker colour. Oh, I never said what the yarn was. Foolish. So this, the orange, let's see if I can pick up. The orange is Sputnik Sweetheart by die candy, and I believe this was the commemorative skein for Perth 2021, maybe. And you know what, I did have the label here, and it's maybe been lost to time. It's gone. But yeah, it's Sputnik Sweetheart. It was the commemorative skein for Perth Festival of Yarn some year. I can't remember which. I'm leaning towards 2021, but I do not know. But this yarn is by Ducky Darlings. I cannot remember the fibre content. This is a sock yarn. It's definitely got nylon in it. I think this does. I'm not sure. Because I had initially wound this up to use for another Stephen West mystery knit long, actually. It was the Shawlography. And I ended up not liking my colours and how they were playing together, so that got ripped out. But so I had this caked up, and the label got lost in the void, never to be seen again. So I'm not sure of the fibre content, but it is a really nice, can't remember the colourway either, it was spruce, something sprucey. It's showing a bit more teal bluey, but it is definitely like it is a cool tone, but it's a green. It's definitely more green than it is blue, but this light's making it look a bit blue, but it isn't. I think it looks more green here when you see it against the orange. I'm not sure, but anyway, this is the progress I'm making. I cast on with the 2.5, no, are these 2.25? I initially cast them on with these 2.25mm Chowgoos, but the way the pattern works, the number of stitches doesn't correlate with how I would normally make a pair of socks. So I usually use 64 stitches to make a pair of socks, and the pattern calls for 60, or the next size up was 72. So I thought 60 might be a bit snug, but I'll give it a go. And I cast them on, and with the cable detail, especially because that is right at the cuff, could not get it over my heel. So I've ripped that out, and then I cast on the 72 stitches. I got a bit down. I tried them on when it was here, and I was like, yeah, they fit fine. And then I knit down a little bit more. I didn't finish section 1, but I got maybe halfway down section 1, and I tried them on, and they were quite baggy. Like my ankles are quite bird-like. I don't have, like, my feet are quite narrow, my ankles are quite narrow. So they were, because this was like, I'd already ripped out a good chunk and started again and then knit a good chunk, I was kind of like, oh, I'll just keep going. I can get them on my feet, and that's like, what's most important. But the more I thought about it, I was like, if I have socks that are like dead loose fitting and are falling down all the time, I'm never going to wear them. And I really want to wear these. They're really cool. So ripped it out again, and I cast on 60 stitches with 2.5mm needles. These are just high sharps. And that fits a lot better. So I'm very excited about them. I was hoping to get a lot more done over this weekend, but I ended up going to a house party yesterday at my friend's, and today I've kind of lied around and ate things because a little bit hungover and feeling sorry for myself, and I never really got any knitting done. There's still the evening, but I was hoping to get at least clue 2 finished and maybe a good part of the way, like getting clue 2 finished on both socks and getting a good start on clue 3 before the next week, well, before the work week starts, but it didn't happen and that's fine. So that's my mystery knit along socks. And the last work in progress I have to show was one I forgot about, which is a bit silly because I was absolutely obsessed with this pattern when I first seen it. So I first seen it at Perth Festival of Yarn, which is now the Scottish Yarn Festival. But I seen it at Perth in, it was last year, 2022, when I was vending. And it was on the Saturday. I was vending by myself. My partner was supposed to be my booth buddy, but he wasn't feeling great the next morning after being out the night before. So I kind of got landed just vending by myself the full day, which was fine, but it meant I couldn't really leave my stall. And then I seen there was a crochet pattern designer, oh, why can I not remember what they're called? It's like get your hook. I have the pattern here. Does it have their name? I feel very foolish right now. Yeah, it's just get your hook on. They kind of specialise in mosaic crochet, which if you're not familiar, it's, I mean, I'm not an expert, so I'm probably not going to do a very good job at explaining it, but I'll try. Mosaic crochet is, it's a form of like colour work, I suppose. I don't really understand how it works. I've been able to do it, but I am not great at it. I'll just show you. So this, can we see? Yeah. So this is the Scandi Birds pattern by Get Your Hook On. I love it. It's so cute, and although it's just called Scandi Birds, I choose to believe that it's Scandi chickens, because that's what I need. So at Perth, my stall was my stall was facing the side of the room that has the door. I suppose the front? I don't know. But they have like a mezzanine level quite high up, and Get Your Hook On was displaying some of their different blankets, and I was just stood at my shawl and I just seen the Scandi Birds pattern. I was like, I need that. I really need to go up there and see it, but I couldn't, you know, because I was vending by myself. I didn't have a chance to get away and like go and look at it. So I eventually got the pattern. I started and I was super excited about it. I was absolutely buzzing. My plan for this is to make a cushion, but it's quite wide. It's going to be a really big cushion because I want it to be square. You know, it's kind of, yeah, it's wider than like my like shoulders. So it's going to be huge, but it's going to be cute, which is the most important thing. So the yarn that I'm using, it's kind of random. I got it from Hobbycraft. I'd never been to Hobbycraft, and I had the opportunity to go, and I was like, oh well, I need some like just like plain coloured yarns, which I don't really have. Like most of the yarn I have is like indie dyed variegated yarn, which just wouldn't work for this. Well, no, but I mean, it definitely could do, but I thought solid colours would work best. So we went to Hobbycraft, which, as it turns out, is not great. I've kind of wanted to go for years, and finally went, and I was like, oh, is this it? All right. But I did manage to get some yarn. I didn't want to get acrylic, just because I don't like working with acrylic. It's quite hard on the hands, especially I find with crochet. Crochet is quite hard on my wrists as it is, but it's the way I tension yarn. acrylic. Just really, yeah, really hurts my hands to work with. So I managed to get some 100% wool stuff, and it's just the Women's Institute. I don't know if that's back to front. I can't figure that out. But yeah, it's just Women's Institute. I got it in grey. This is kind of, what colour is this? I think it's just kind of like blue. It's not as royal blue as it looks here. It's not quite navy either. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's blue. And this yellow colour, and this kind of burgundy plum, something like that. That's covered in fibre. So I was really excited about this when I first started it. And then, so it must have been October when I started it. And I was really excited because I'd never done mosaic crochet before. So it's like, although I've been crocheting longer than I've been doing any crafts, mosaic crochet to me was like a whole other skill set that I had to learn from scratch. It's the same stitches, but it's just a totally different process to me. The way I understand crochet, it just seemed totally different. So that was really exciting. I was really enjoying it. I thought I'd made a lot more progress than I actually have. But yeah, and then I don't know when I stopped knitting on it, but every year when it gets to like November, December, everything is chaos. And I tend to get really stressed out and just forget things, which is exactly what's happened here. But it doesn't normally take me until July to remember the things that I have forgotten. But I did this time. So my plan for August is I want to get these finished. I'm not going to say finished, but I want to get maybe at least the front panel of the cushion done. Maybe. The problem is because I've left it so long, I'm gonna have to reteach myself how to do mosaic crochet, which is fine. But yeah, yeah, it'll be fine. It has to be. So yeah, I'm gonna hopefully get the front panel or the back panel. It doesn't really matter. Hopefully gonna get that panel finished over the next month. But in the meantime, it's living in a Greg's tote bag, fashion with flavour. So yeah, so that's all of the projects I've been working on throughout July. I hope you liked this video. Thank you for spending the time to watch it. Yeah, see you later. Bye.